Welcome, Spiritual Mag. My name is Sambell. Relax. Imagine you're stepping into a comfortable and invisible ocean. An invisible ocean that makes everything. Yes. The Invisible Ocean That Makes Everything by Sambell, civilian journalist. That's me. Orion experiencer. That's me. Spiritualmag.org. Well, loved one, imagine you are standing on the beach, looking out at the ocean. You see waves rolling in, big ones, small ones, fast ones, slow ones. Some crash loudly, some barely whisper. But here is the secret that makes everything make sense. The waves are not separate things. They are the ocean moving. There is only one ocean, but it can take many shapes. Now imagine something surprising. Scientists have learned that the entire universe works in a very similar way. Even though space looks empty, it is not empty at all. No. It is more like a vast, invisible ocean filling everything. Your room, your body, the earth beneath your feet, the air you breathe, and even the space between the stars. This invisible ocean is made of energy, and it is always gently humming, rippling, and dancing, even when nothing seems to be happening. Loved one, space is not empty. When you look at an empty glass, it looks like there's nothing inside, but we know there is air. And inside the air are trillions of tiny molecules moving around. And inside those molecules are even more movement. In the same way, when we look at outer space, it looks empty, but scientists now know it is invisible activity. Think of space like a calm lake at dawn. The surface looks still, but deep below are tiny currents and ripples that never stop. Even the quietest places in the universe are alive with motion. What we call space is actually full of energy, waiting, responding, and shaping itself into everything we see. How things are made. Loved one, here's the big idea. Everything you see, your hands, your pet, the table, the moon, your thoughts, and even the light from the sun is made from patterns forming in this invisible ocean. Nothing snaps together like plastic building blocks. Instead, everything forms the way waves form on water. A wave rises, lasts for a while, and then settles back down. But the ocean remains. Loved one, in the same way, a rock is a very slow, long-lasting pattern of energy. Your body is a living, breathing, constantly changing pattern. Sound is a fast wave moving through the air. Light is a wave moving through space itself. The shapes change, the energy does not disappear. Loved one, particles are not tiny marbles. For a long time, people imagined that the smallest pieces of matter were tiny solid balls, like grains of sand or microscopic marbles bouncing around. But scientists discovered something far more interesting. What we call particles are not really solid objects at all. They are made more like tiny vibrations, like musical tones played on the strings of the universe. Imagine plucking a guitar string. The string stays, but the vibration appears, moves, and fades. Subatomic particles behave the same way. They appear when conditions are right. They behave like waves. They fade back into the invisible field that produced them. So instead of saying, this thing is separate from everything else, a more accurate way to think is, everything is something the universe is doing right now. Something that blows the mind, well, gently it blows your mind, is here's a surprising truth. Most of what you call solid is actually space. Inside an atom, the tiny building block of matter, the center is tiny and the particles that seem to orbit it are very far away compared to their size. If an atom were the size of a stadium, the central nucleus would be a tiny grain of sand at the center out in the middle of the field, and the nearest particle would be somewhere out in the stands. This means something astonishing. The space between subatomic particles is, relative to their size, even larger than the distance between planets, and sometimes comparable to the distances between stars. So when you look at your hand, you're not looking at something solid. You're looking at a beautifully organized pattern of vast spaces, held together by invisible relationships, energy in balance. Loved one, you are mostly space singing. So, understand nothing is truly separate, loved one. Nothing is truly separate. Because everything arises from the same invisible ocean, nothing is truly alone. Your breath connects you to trees. Your body connects you to the earth. Your thoughts arise from the same energy that lights the stars. Different forms, yes. Different shapes, yes. But the same deep source. Just as waves in the ocean, each of us looks separate, but beneath the surface, we are already connected. Why love and service matter physically, loved one? Why? Well, here is where science quietly meets wisdom. Because everything is connected through this invisible ocean. What we think, feel, and do does not stop at our skin. When we act only in service to self, fear tightens the pattern. Stress increases, systems become rigid, Nature is treated as something separate to be dominated. But when we act in service to others, something different happens. Compassion relaxes the system. Unconditional love creates coherence. The body heals more easily. Communities stabilize, and the environment responds, loved one. Love is not just a feeling. It is a regulating force, a harmonizing wave in the invisible ocean. Loved one, just as calm waves settle a stormy sea, acts of kindness and service smooth the larger field we all share. When you help one another, you are not giving away energy. You are tuning the entire system toward balance, including yourself. Here's a simple example. Think about music playing through a speaker. You cannot see the song. You cannot hold it. But you can feel it change the room and the mood. When the music stops, the air remains. The vibration returns to silence. Matter works the same way. Nothing you see is frozen. Everything is gently humming. Everything is temporary but meaningful, loved one. So, here is the simple truth for children and adults, me and you. The universe is filled with invisible energy. Matter is energy shaped into temporary patterns. Particles are waves, not tiny dots. Most of solid reality is open space, and everything is connected beneath the surface. Everything, and acts of love and service bring the whole system into harmony. You are not a stranger in the universe, loved one. You are not separate from life. You are a living wave in a vast, intelligent ocean, and when you choose to serve others, the ocean itself becomes calmer, kinder, and more whole. And that healing includes you and all your loved ones. Samuel Joseph Bell, civilian journalist, Orion Experiencer, spiritualmag.org.